You did already.
No,
Yeah,
that was
that's,
Cynthia's daughter.
yep. So, all right.
Oh,
Today we had a request to talk a little bit about why you would use a package and then how would you actually do that in real life, which is always a good idea. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about like what a package versus like a one product is. And I mean, because I know that like seems obvious, but generally like you are going to go to a store and buy a one item, like kind of one item at a time. Like Target doesn't do a really great job of packaging everything you need for your dinners for the next 20 days, like that's just not something that they might do. But then you think about, okay, if I'm going to ship it to you, like those like meal prep services do a really good job of packaging multiple things at once. And so it's a very different philosophy. Whereas you think about, oh, well, I'm going to go pick up these things, but you're actually going to be picking them up one by one. Whereas online, and especially when there's shipping involved or something put together, is, well, you're going to need more than one thing. Like, if I'm going to order something online, I don't want just one onion showing up. Like I'm going to need the things that go along with it. And so it makes it a really natural thing. And you'll see this and when you think about like when you go to the obvious things of like the infomercials and you watch a webinar these days, it's rare that they're selling one thing. They might be selling one thing and then adding a bunch of bonuses that actually create a package. So whether you're presenting it as one thing with a bunch of bonuses, or if you're thinking of a package, it's the way you lay it out. But philosophically, you're kind of thinking, what would this person need, like from start to finish, to accomplish this? So that's where like a kit might come in, whether that be like a tangible craft kit that you have everything you need to make this craft, a meal kit, like an education kit. Like, okay, no matter where you are on this spectrum, I'm gonna take you all the way along on that. And like we talked a little bit earlier, because everybody's business looks a little bit different, sometimes it's really helpful to say my average customer is here, so that's what I'm going to tailor my things to. But you know what? If I added just one or two additional things, I could catch someone at an earlier stage or a later stage too. So then it gives you the ability to sell those things individually if you want to, or then package them, because no one ever says, oh, stop giving me stuff. like, no, I don't want the extra bonuses. Like, even if you don't want the extra bonuses, so you're going to be like, oh my gosh, there's free stuff. So psychologically can be really helpful, because like we talked about, they're gonna make that purchase decision on an like kind of an emotional impulse buy, but then also giving them that additional value or gives them more justification for what they just purchased. So what does that look like when we're talking about what that coming to a website, coming to a webinar, coming to a sales page, those kind of things, is that you're going to want to communicate. This is obvious. You want to communicate what all is involved. So you might lead with the major product, and then say, oh, and I'm going to give you I'm going to start with this major product. And oh, by the way, if you need this and this, I'm going to give that to you as well. And it might depend on where your main customer is landing, whether that's kind of like a bonus. Oh, by the way, if you're not at this level, I have this that will get you to that level. There's also, you could always break these things up and sell them individually as well too, just depending on your situation. So thinking about what you need to put in that package to make it the best package for your customer, and whether that kind of backfilling in that information needs to happen as a freebie or as starting them somewhere else and then working them into that package is going to really depend on your business. But thinking about, these are all decisions that you can make as far as mixing and matching what your actual product looks like. So one of the, like we talked about, the expectation of your customer is really, really important because like if they have, if you over deliver, it doesn't mean better. You set, and this is what kind of cracks me up at this. We set the bar. So we get to decide what that bar is because nobody's coming to you and saying, "Oh, but I wanted those 6 paper clips too." No, you set the expectation of what you're delivering. So set that in a way that is easy for you to over deliver and not under deliver. And generally, the reason why somebody is perceived to under deliver is not because you didn't actually deliver it, it's they didn't know what it was, how to get it, where to get it, all the things. And we see this every day in our customer service because we're not the perfect at this either, is that someone will say, "Oh, I was promised Rachel's, bonus of this class." And, of course, she said it somewhere, but forgot to tell us. And so then we're scrambling like, "Rachel, where do we find this so that we can deliver this?" And when she puts the sales page together and stuff like that, but a lot of times she's like going into a group or something and saying, "Hey, well, I'll give this as a bonus." So then it's not necessarily on the sales page, or it's not necessarily in that follow-up email. And people are like, "But she promised me something that we didn't deliver." And so one of the easiest ways to do that is to take that list of whatever you're promising, like on that sales page, is then to reiterate it on the delivery page. And you might want to put a timeline on that. So for instance, if like you're doing a 7-day challenge and you're only going to be delivering one thing every day, then on that delivery page, say, "I'm delivering, I promise you I'm going to deliver these 7 days. Here's when these things are going to be launched, where to find them, or at what point in the future is this going to happen?" Just giving them so that a sense of security that what you promised is also what you're going to deliver. Also, I would follow that up with an email too, because we've all done this where we go to a website and we're like all into it, and then we're like, "Crap, I forgot to bookmark it. I have no idea where I was in the world." Our lives are super complicated. So following them up with an email or an email list, because we all can find those things in our email a lot. It's a lot more searchable than the general internet, and just like a black hole of information. So thinking about when you're structuring these things, especially if you're delivering more than one thing, is that you're going to think about what that list looks like on whatever your kind of promise page, whether it be a webinar or a sales page or anything like that. Repeat that same list with some sort of timeline or deliverable, like links, or, "Hey, here's the videos, here's a folder, here's whatever." And then also in whatever the delivery email might be. If you're using Pagewheel, you can do that real easily on that delivery page. You could be using like the video sections. You could even say "coming soon" on some of those, like if you have a launch of a bunch of videos, you could be like, you could say "coming soon." You could use placeholders there. You could just put a list of dates that these things are going to be released. You could have, if you are delivering more than just the printable within the Pagewheel system, you could use that the community button. Or remember, you could also make a list that has hyperlinks. So like if you are like, "Hey, I have this ebook here, I have a group here, I have a whatever here," you could be just putting that same list that you might have had on that sales page within that delivery page and hyperlinking it, and then copying and pasting that into the email as well. Or you could be setting up your own email delivery, at a different, in a different system that also refers back to that, so that they have a constant reminder that you are delivering what you promised. And then what that looks like too, also on that, and one of the things I think we're really timid about, but after being like in the ClickFunnels coaching world for a while, you get really kind of bold about this, is assigning values to those things. So like if you're on a sales page and you're like, hey, or like I do this a lot through what I'll pitch a sponsor or somebody through email. So a lot of times I will say, I'll list out the package items individually. So I might say, hey, I will do, 3 Pinterest posts. And then I might put in parentheses, I usually charge $75 a piece for these. And then I might put them there like, and I'm going to do a live video on Facebook. I usually charge $1,500 for this. I will do blah, 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 so I'll break up all the things that you might, and so this isn't even necessarily, it could be as simple as breaking out what a social media package might be, or whatever you're creating for them. If it has more than one part, break those out and show value of each one. Because when I say, hey, I want you to sponsor me for $3,000, and you're like, well, what does that even mean? But when I'm like, okay, you're getting 3 pins, you're getting 4 Facebook posts, you're getting a live video, you're getting a blog post, and then all of a sudden when they see, oh, well, normally if I bought these independently, she would charge me $7,000. I don't even know, $7,000 for it. But so all of a sudden it makes that package price look a lot better. The other option for you to think about is, that if you are doing, it's much easier for me to do a full package for one sponsor than to go out and sell those Pinterest pins independently to 12 people. So that's one of the reasons why I can justify also reducing the rate, because I'm dealing with one person, one approval process, one set of, kind of overriding rules and regulations and stuff like that. So if you feel like you want to talk about justification of that, the other thing you can do in that process, if you're putting together like a coaching process or a consulting process, is you might want to pull out something that says, hey, this includes like 2 back and forth for approval. If we go into the 3rd approval process, then I charge X. That's another way to set expectations so that you're not hating yourself after the 12th approval and you're like, are you freaking kidding me? I should have, charged 10 times what I charged. So setting just some simple things, like nobody on the front end sees themselves being the person that asks for 12 approvals. So that does not seem really crazy. You could say, if we go into more approvals past that, or more hours past that, or whatever might contain you in that sphere of being able to offer that price, then put that kind of overtime pricing in as just a note. Hey, if this goes over into this area, this is what I charge. So that can keep you, not only can it keep you within the sphere of not like over promising and working a lot more than what you priced out, but it also allows them to see the value of what you're offering them. Like, hey, I can only deliver this for this price if we're within this sphere. And I'm totally happy to make you happy, but like with things outside of my control, I need to contain it with something, and that gives you some value as well. So then, when we're going back to those deliverables, especially if it's something you're going to deliver over time, is I love also just like copying that into future emails. Every time I deliver on something, I might hyperlink to that folder, to that video, to that, like in the case of if I'm doing 3 pins for someone, I'm going to list out the URLs of those 3 pins, of those social media posts, all, dependent assets, whatever you're doing. And so that every time you're sending them something, you're also sending them back all the deliverables. So they're reminding them, hey, we're right on schedule. Hey, this is what I've already done for you. This is what we're still working on. And then if you are doing something with deliverables that has some sort of stats attached, then what I would do is go ahead and start adding those stats. So like, hey, these pins were repin, 300 times by this date, or this had a reach of, 50,000 by this date. So that you're not only, so you're showing the deliverable where they can see it, and then also the value that you've added to it because they hired you. And what's really cool about when you think about any sort of package, whether this be a coaching package, and you're actually sending the deliverables and the justification, is it makes it really easy for them to come hire you again after that. Because they're like, at no point in this process did I think I was being, scammed in any way. So thinking about adding value, estimations to that sales page is not just a thing that you'd see on infomercials or webinars, and we laughed last time about like, oh, this package that's worth $47,000 is I'm charging, and generally, by the way, it's usually 10x. So if you are on a webinar and they're like, it's worth $50,000, it's probably a $5,000 program. With pretty much 100% accuracy, pretty much. So, but just FYI, and one of the reasons why they do that is that psychologically that is like a magic number, like that somebody figured out converts well. But part of that is because you don't have to justify all $50,000 worth of that package. And you can look at it and say, oh my gosh, that is not worth $3,000. That's probably worth 300. But like, it's okay because I'm going to use I'm going to use this $5,000 worth of this package. Because really your brain only has to justify the amount of stuff in that package to justify that last price, the purchase price. So if you are giving them a $50,000 package, you just need to be like over delivering on a $5,000 package price, if that makes sense. So I love things like the 10x. Yeah. Well, because I can't tell you how many times I'm like on a webinar, I'm like, just give me the freaking buy button. Like, but no, I have to sit here for another 90 minutes. And I'm like, yeah, I am just too busy for that. But like, can I set a timer and come back in 90 minutes? Yes. But so if I hop on and I'm like, and the value is $50,000, I'm like, would I spend $5,000 on that? No, I will not. I will jump off now. But that's generally where they're headed with that on the bonuses and stuff like that. But you don't have to be you don't have to be as crazy as that. But I think one of the reasons why they do that is it works. So using some of the ideas behind what does convert things can make, and like literally it's going to help you understand, like if I'm like, hey, I'm going to charge you this for this package. Let me break down how I would normally charge for this normally. Like that, like we're all bargain shoppers. So we all would look at that. Or if you say, I do this a lot in my coaching programs. I'm like, I don't even sell this part one-on-one, but I'm going to include it in this package. So, and I'm just like, so I don't even know what I would sell it for. I probably would have to charge, and this is where the numbers might get a little bit more inflated, because I'm like, the reason why I don't sell that individually is because it's not worth my time. So like, but it's probably worth it to you. So let me just explain to you where that goes. So you can say, I don't even sell this, but if I did, I'd probably be in this range. People can totally understand that. And then it just adds to their information of what the value of what you would value that. So I think the bottom line is when you're thinking about, hey, like, I want to have a product that's more than $10 or $15 or $100, is sometimes you're like, oh, but like, what does that even look like? Is start creating a list, like, and you'll hear people talk about like a value ladder and all these package things, but basically what things do they need? What things would be helpful to them? What things would they like? They don't necessarily need, but they like. And what could you deliver in a way that doesn't take away from the value or add work to your plate, that would take away from the main purpose. And that makes a really nice bonus list or package list. And then assigning values and then coming up with some sort of price that justifies whether they use the whole package or parts of the package for that bottom line price. All right, any questions?
Holly, in the Learn tab of Pagewheel, or not tab,
Yeah.
Learn Pagewheel, the article that's talking about packaging this, and then she's got the breakout, when you click on it, it sort of gives you the little table of this
Yeah.
is the $1,500 package, this is 25 or 25 and 50. And if we wanted to do something like that, so mine would be on a much smaller scale. It would be,
Yeah.
Things that I could offer from Busy.
Yeah.
See, now you got me saying it.
I know.
And things that I would offer from Pagewheel, and this is like a drinking game, so don't drink. And then things that we offer from Pagewheel and what the two different prices are. And it's going to be different for all of us, obviously, because we all have different size footprints. And something like that, is there somewhere we can go that will like sort of show us on a smaller scale what it look? I think all of us want to be true to you and Rachel's integrity, and like we don't want to pirate this badly.
So let me talk to you a little bit. I'm glad you reminded me this because I wanted to tell this story. So
I don't know if what I'm asking makes sense. We don't want to deliver badly. We want to deliver at the scale and the quality that you guys do. So we need a pattern.
Yeah. So, and really the pattern is less about, I mean, the market is what somebody's going to pay willingly.
Right.
I mean, so the market, like what people would pay for it 6 weeks ago or 10 years from now is going to be where those prices are. And it's going to vary wildly between your communities, what type of niche you're in, whether that's like a niche that, someone's using a business budget versus a personal budget. These are just like you're spending other people's money versus your own money and those kind of things. But one of the things that I used to do because remember when I started in the blogging space, like I was on the front lines of sponsorship, like influencer, now they call, influencer, relationships, is that we had no idea, like no idea what it was. So what I really started doing is when I would pitch someone, I would pitch 3 packages, small, medium, and large. Okay. And in my mind, that medium package was generally what they were going to. So I made sure that the medium package was a reasonable price for both, was a win-win situation for both. Okay. The small package was a win for me, meaning that I got my foot in the door, but I didn't overwork for that. So, but I wouldn't include everything they wanted, but and so it actually, the small package was usually priced a little higher than I would sell those things individually for. So that, because I didn't want them to choose that. Like I wanted to push them towards that medium package that was a win-win for both. But then, and this is where the pitch the big idea package, because they don't have to take it. You're giving them 2 options, but pitch the big idea. And I cannot tell you how many times, and I would just put a crazy price on the big idea package. Like, because they're not, like, in my mind, they're not choosing it. But you know what? I'd say 20-25% of them chose it. And so then that's where you're elevating yourself, because then you're proving the market price that your big idea package is somebody's idea of a reasonable agreement. Okay. So when I first got started out, like, I mean, we're talking about, $50 to the big idea might have been $400. I don't know. And then as I grew and as I got better at this, there's no way I'm selling a package for $50. So my small one might be $250, and then the big one might be 5,000. So, and the truth is the actual work involved in that, when I first started out versus where I ended up with that big idea was not that much different in the workload or even the reach, quite honestly. It was just in my confidence to deliver at that level. So this is less about because you can deliver a $5,000 package today, but there is no way I'm going to be able to talk you into that today, April.
No. I might throw up a little bit.
So this is less about what they are buying and more about what you're presenting. So I think the easiest trick to do is you're going to put together two packages that you feel are super reasonable in your worldview right now, and then you're going to put the big fat hairy goal deal one. And then just watch. I mean, like, and you don't care if they don't take it. Like, it's nothing.
Right.
You pitch them some ideas that are very reasonable in your mind and to their mind. And the funny thing is someday somebody's going to pick that package up and say, yeah, I totally want that.
Right. So this might sound really stupid and elementary, but how do we get from the place where we click download the copy from to this is what I'm delivering to my client? Like, in other words, because the things in that grid, in Rachel's grid, are not they're not clickable. In other words, we can't really see what she's delivering.
Yeah. So what I would
make sure that I'm at the bar of what you think that we don't want to misrepresent y'all.
No, and you're not. There's no point. And remember, like, the other thing is when you're starting out and you're working more one-on-one, like, it's less important that you have all these links everywhere because that person's just going to reach out and talk to you. But it's a really good like way to get into this and a way to think of how you're putting things together so that when you're at scale, you don't have 150 people emailing you pissed off. So
right.
Yeah. So let me show you what I do in Google Drive. I'm going to share my screen.
I have a question about that kind of too. Okay, so I don't know if I'm on the same lines as April, but what I'm thinking is in the packages, how can we decide what packages go together that complement each other the best that we can, like, say, okay, someone needs a social content, and then they need the conversation starters, and then they need XYZ, and then that maybe is a small package. Or then take those three things and then add to them. Or take those three things and add to them and add to that and then add to that. And what all actually goes together that makes the package flow.
So I love this conversation. And partially you're going to get that information from your customer. So you're going to talk to that customer and be like, hey, where's your pain points? What's your big issue? Like, where are you seeing good ROI? Like, so you can get you can get an idea of where their motivation is. I used to do this all the time with sponsors because, like, I would see, that my best bang for the buck was on Facebook, live video, email, and they didn't care about email. And they didn't they didn't want a blog post because the movie was going to be gone, was going to be released in 3 weeks and then gone, which is stupid, by the way. But I'm putting value on these things that they don't even care about. Like, so one of the things that I would do is then I know how to proportion the thing. So, like, if they're like, we're really into Pinterest or we're really into Instagram, and I'm thinking they're going to get like no like ROI on Instagram. So I make that package forward facing with Instagram and Pinterest because that's what they're really interested in. But then I backfill that package with something I know I can deliver on. So, so like, then I know I'm delivering a good package, for that person, but I'm forward facing with their most important thing. And then what I might do, like on that small package, is only include Instagram and not Pinterest, even though they mentioned both to me, because I want to push them into that middle package. Because in order for me to do an actual delivery, like I need to get them in that middle, because like I can't over deliver in that lower thing. So I need to get them into that middle package that gives them everything they want and everything they need from me. So you might want to like, and one of the things I do all the time, if anyone's ever been like, hey, Holly, I want to do one-on-one coaching with you. The first thing I do is I hop on a Zoom. It's usually a 15 to 20-minute call that just, so I can just listen to what your pain points are. Like, what are you seeking? And then at the end of that conversation, if I'm like, dude, I'm not your girl, I can't help you here. Like, I'll just say that, hey, because what I'm about to pitch to you is expensive. And I don't ever want to be that person that you don't get the rewards from what we did. Or if I feel like you're not actually all in, because the other thing I hate is coaching people who aren't actually going to do it. That sucks. So anyway, but so I can hear what is important to you, and then is that a good match? So you can say, like, have them talk about what they're doing, what's working, what's not working. Those are kind of the questions. I'm like, what's working for you? What's not working for you? What do you feel like, where do you feel lost? And then then you can mix and match that. So they're like, hey, I got Facebook covered, I got a good following there, but like, I'm just getting started on this and this, and I just have no idea what to do. That gives you a really good idea of, okay, they're not going to care if you put the Facebook content in that package because they're like, I got this. So like, you could spend that time to say, hey, why don't we do this and this in that first package, and then we'll cover more in that second package, and then, oh, do you want everything that third package then? So let me show you in what I basically do. I'm going to share my screen here. This is just Google Drive. It's free. And so like I would start a new folder with whatever. So I'm going to say the ultimate package for X, Y, and Z. So the client name, something that I can search because everything's about search in Google. So then what I'm going to do is create basically within this 2 folders. One for me, so a new folder, and this is all under this umbrella. So this is Holly's information about XYZ package. And I'm not going to share that part with them, but then I'm going to create a folder of basically delivery items for XYZ. Okay. So this one, I'm going to, if this is the delivery items, I'm going to immediately share with them, even if I don't have anything in it right now. And so I'm going to go to the share button and I'm going to grab the link, or I'm going to share it with their email. And then I'm going to keep that. And even if I've shared it with you, I'm going to grab that link so that every time I email you, I'm like, remember, everything that we're doing together can be found in this folder. Okay. And like, let's say you could then have subfolders within this if you wanted to, like if you're going to go, hey, here's all the stuff for May, here's all the stuff for June, here's all the stuff for July, whatever. But then like, and it makes it really easy because then let's say I'm going to deliver something that I already have in another folder. I could just copy it into this folder immediately. So I'm delivering, like I'm filling up and if you're like putting together a package of stuff you've already done, you could fill up this folder before you even put it on the sales page that you're going to deliver it. So giving, and then I always like to have a place that I can like leave notes. so that like I can take like scattered notes on that, like that first call. I'm going to put all like, I'm going to take notes that first call. I'm going to say, she's really into this and this and this, couldn't care less about that. So that I save myself 3 months from now from saying, oh, let's do this and this. And she's like, yeah, I'm really not. Remember, I told you I'm really not into that. So it makes you look a lot more put together on the front end, that you're only concentrating on those things that are priority, that they told you that they were prioritizing from the front end.
I have a question about that, Holly.
Yeah.
In the folder that you made for your client, you know,
Yes.
I deliver to one-on-one
Mhm.
normally. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to move into a group situation because my teaching is always the same.
Yeah.
The implementation for each person may be different,
Right.
but the teaching is all the same.
Mhm.
So I'm thinking because of that, it's better to put those videos, those teaching videos, because I got smart and I thought rather than repeating myself every time,
Yeah.
just make the videos, the teaching
Mhm.
videos, and put them like in a membership or something so
Yes.
people can see
Mhm.
the teaching there rather than every time having to send them that file folder. But the file folder is super important because I love the idea of they're not, this is not that, you know, the personalization
Yeah.
part. Is that what you
Yeah,
suggest?
and so you could go about this two ways. Like the other thing you could do, Cynthia, is like if you're like, hey, I always give, you know, these 10 lessons. You could put those 10 lessons in a folder and then copy that folder for that person so that they have that individualized folder. And then you could also be adding in, because then you have that same information in a folder just for you, just for Cynthia. And so then I'm like, oh, Cynthia, your implementation of step 4 is a little bit different. So I'm going to add a little video here. I'm going to add a little bit of like, you know, of what we discussed, or maybe if you're doing one-on-one Zoom calls. That's the other thing I'll do is like, if we're doing one-on-one coaching, then I'm going to be recording that. And then all those Zoom calls are going into wherever this information is.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And it also gives you the ability to then, like, if like someone will, you know, say something like, oh, well, you know, I need my VA to do that, but I just don't know how to show them. And I'm like, oh, well, here, let me grab that training for you and throw it into your folder. And so that it does really feel like a very personalized thing, even though a lot of times I'm reusing the same, because of course we're having the same conversation over and over again in different, you know, in different respects.
What's a reasonable time frame for somebody who, like, in my mind, I'm comfortable, and I know everybody's gonna say, do double what you're comfortable with. Okay. But for the very, very first one,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna stay in my comfort zone.
That's
Okay.
fine.
So I'm comfortable doing an entire, like, everything Copy Shop can offer
Mhm.
just for the first baby person.
Mhm.
Do like a small package that's like $250, and then the mid package would be like $400, and then the big giant scary hairy package would be
Mhm.
$800.
Mhm.
And the $800 one would be a PDF of everything Copy Shop can throw up on
Yeah.
me.
Okay.
So if I did that, it would be just different pieces incrementally, you know, for 3 packages. And is that something I could maybe put together and throw in the Pagewheel group and get feedback on before I throw it into the
Absolutely.
world?
So the other thing that is a benefit, and think about this too, is like one of the added values of them saying, April, put this package together, versus you just throwing them at Pagewheel for, you know,
Right.
$27 a month, is that you're going to give them inside information as to how to use this, how you use it, like what an easy way, or you run it for them and you're going to show them like how to use these different things. So that value is massive. And it's really, there's no particular number on that, because like, you know, think about like, for instance, like in the card business, there's no one in this room that could show them how to do that, use this product for that purpose as well as you can. So like, this is where like, that's why you like, you can limit yourself to whatever price you want to. But the point is like, there is no limitation to that because you are the world's renowned expert on using this and that.
Okay.
You know, so it's
Okay.
it is about your comfort level right now. And then also how hard you want to work, because in the beginning, whenever we are pricing these things, we are always pricing our time into them. And that's fine because what I want you to do with these first few packages is be cognizant of how much time you're spending, how much, because
Okay.
the next time you're going to price it better. But this is almost like you're getting paid to learn on those first few
Right.
customers.
Right. Well, that's what I feel like. If I can get a good groove going, then the 5th package is going to take me half as long as the
Mhm.
first package took, because I mean, I'm still like, I need to get with somebody like Sandy, or, you know, to find, because we can't currently anyway, we're not able to just take the Canva templates, repackage them, and then sell them. So I need to sort of get my own
Mhm.
Canva template
Put
group,
together.
I guess, put
Yeah.
together first.
And I think that's it's a really reasonable thing, is to say like, okay, you know, and in fact, you might even say, okay, the first package or two is kind of a loss leader. I'm going to take what I earn on that and hire someone to help me make Canva templates that then I can turn
Right.
around and resell.
Right. Kim just asked what you can't so Kim, the ones that she gave us in Makers and the ones that she has in the Pagewheel, like for instance, the Canva template that pops up with the tweetable post, there's 3 Canva templates in that tweetable post download.
Yeah.
Those are Rachel and Holly's, and we cannot use those templates as our own and then repackage and sell them.
Right. Okay, I get it. I thought you meant like making your own and then reselling them.
You can totally make your own and resell them, but
Yeah.
not the ones that Rachel gave us in Makers.
No.
And what I would do, like, you know, as we go forward, is it's alter them a little bit.
Oh yeah, for sure.
yeah.
Well, and honestly, there's social media Canva templates by the dozens on
Yeah.
Etsy for like $10.
Right.
I mean, you could just buy a whole thing of them for
Yeah.
nothing and resell them.
You have to
Well,
watch the licensing on
wait a minute.
those.
Are you talking about when she puts a post up on
No,
the page wheel and then you just copy that little graphic and then add the
no, no.
word?
I'm talking about a Canva template.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay,
that
I have a-
like, if she's doing like a DIY, I mean, like she's like making images for a client or something like that, then it would be really easy to put together your own, like, you know, have someone help you, pay them,
Yeah.
to create your own templates that you're really comfortable with. And then that becomes a lot easier process. And I love the idea of not putting that money forward until you make it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like these first, like this is like investing in your business. So like, hey, my first customer is going to pay for these templates. My second customer is going to pay for these templates. And so then all of a sudden you have a very intentional reason for charging a certain amount too, which also feels better.
I have a question.
Yeah.
With all of what April's talking about
Mhm.
is amazing. So can we take then, because I know in version 2.0, we're going to be able to white label things.
Mhm.
So when we're selling something to a client, would it be a good idea to say, hey, we could give this to you so your VA or whoever could be doing it, and you would have to sign up for Pagewheel, or however you would put that
Yeah.
together?
So one of the options, and I have a whole, you know, a whole bunch of training that I've done is showing people VA how to do something. You know what I mean? And like, so they like, because a lot of people, they're like, I don't have time for this freaking social media crap. So like, here is some really simple ways. And by the way, when you package something that will say, hey, even if even if English is a second language to you, I'm going to go through this really, really simply. Guess what? Your regular customers love that training too, because it's not that you're talking down to anybody, you're starting at the very beginning.
Mhm.
So thinking about how can you teach this so simply that you could even hand this over to a VA that may not have the stakeholder in the business. And that works really well for regular training too, because people are just like, life is so complicated, just make this easy for me. But like I have a friend who teaches Pinterest. She's like, you know, she's one of those people that Pinterest brings to and what her course is teaching you how to do this, but then she has her, you know, 100 top templates or whatever that are involved in it. She just went to Canva and made them, you know, like this was not rocket science, but how much, like, here again, she, you know, to her, those templates, I mean, she probably whipped them out in, you know, an hour, and she's like, probably worth $40. Well, what is it worth to me? Who, you know, like all of a sudden, if I just use 3 of those templates 4 times each, I paid, you know, I would pay $500 for that.
Right.
So thinking about what time you're saving, or like, you know, if you're like, hey, I'm going to show your VA how to effectively post on Instagram for you, like that, like the actual value of that is crazy, because you know what is going to happen is they're just going to hire someone without any instructions, and we all understand where that's going to lead. So if you're like, no, let me show them how to do that. It's going to take them 2 hours to learn this. Then you're going to do this follow-up. And then this is what you look for to see if they're actually doing what you're doing. Like, sign me up for $1,200 right now. Like, you know, that's like, that is a value that you almost can't put a number on at that point.
Rachel, April. Why do I always call you Rachel? April. If you're gonna, I buy a lot of stuff off of Etsy. You need to be careful because some of it is not licensed for you to resell.
Okay.
So it's okay for you to use it to promote your stuff, but it's not okay for you to resell it.
I got it.
So
Okay.
just be
So I'll
careful
check
with
that when I look at it. And
Gotta
some
get
of
the
this
master
stuff too,
resell rights.
places you can go to.
Huh?
I haven't really tried, like I haven't looked into this enough and look for PLR items. Okay.
Yes.
What's
Yep.
that stand for?
Private
Please.
label, right?
Private-
Label rights.
Private label right.
Yeah.
So
I was
that would
going,
be like a-
please
a white
look
label.
right.
The other thing I would do, April, I would just hire Sandy for an hour.
Yes.
Sandy, you can charge her a lot.
Sorry to say, after this,
Actually,
after this
Sandy,
teaching, her prices went up.
yeah, Sandy could teach a class, and she's got a whole group right
Yes,
here.
I
with
do.
follow that class.
Right.
There,
Gee,
now
I
let's
wonder
talk
if I
about
can
it,
put
right?
together a PDF to go along with my class. How do I do that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's see.
Could be a checklist.
Yeah.
Maybe you should do a lunch and learn. I wonder
Yeah.
how we do that.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
But yeah, so
Can
these
she
are-
do that lunch and learn before mine?
Oh, I just
now,
bought a
now we
course
need
on
to
how
know
to do
the
lunch and
dominoes need
learns.
to fall in a
Yeah.
certain
Right.
way here.
I just bought a course on how to do lunch and learns from this April girl, so you can use that.
Thank you.
Yay. That's
Yeah.
so funny. Okay. So I think that, and so many things that I even hear myself sometimes, and I hear Rachel going, you're making this too hard.
Yeah.
You are making this
And
too
that's
hard.
where I've been. I'm stuck in my head since I started
Yes.
all this.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you know what? I'm down here on the coast this week, but I'm going to start making notes on the legal pad. And when I get home, I'm creating 3 little packages,
Mhm.
and I'm just going to put them out there. Somebody is going to look at those and go, gosh, this is a great deal. And then
And
the
you
next one, I'm
guys-
going to go a little higher.
You could do, if you wanted to, you could also, like, if you're doing one-on-one where you're like someone's reaching out through you through a direct message or an email, you could create basically a Pagewheel sales page for each of those 3 packages that you're selling multiple times. And so that when you say, hey, if you want package 1, go to this link. If you want package 2, go to this link. If you want package 3, go to this link. So that you don't have to worry about like, oh, well, now how am I going to invoice them on, like the whole things. Like
Oh, right. We don't have to send them an invoice.
you don't have to send
They
them
just buy which one they
could just
want.
buy which one you want, and that could be outlined. You're going to look like genius because you're going to have these beautiful sales pages for each one of those things that highlight the benefits of each sales page. So they could go through and flip through them if they wanted to, like see more information. But this is like, don't overthink this. Don't like just, and if the first time you don't have those made, or you only have one of them made, send, hey, I only have this one made up yet. Send
Okay.
it back. Don't let the tech, this is the whole point of Pagewheel. Do not let the tech keep you from taking the money.
Okay.
Love that.
Got it.
Okay, so what you're saying is we can make this package in Pagewheel.
You could
Sales
absolutely.
page.
Yeah.
We can make the sales page package
Mhm.
in Pagewheel
Yeah, absolutely.
on the copy shop sales page section.
Well, I mean, I would use the digital product side of things and just create something that you give away within
Okay, I
that.
do that.
Yeah, yeah. Because I mean, yes, if you have a funnel system or you have a website, you want to make a sales page that way, you still have to figure out how to take the money though. If you're
Right.
using copy shop. But if you're using the Pagewheel digital product sales page, you just alter it to say, oh, besides this checklist, I'm also going to give you a group, and I'm going to give you these classes, and I'm going to give you this, and I'm going to give you this. And then on that delivery page, you're going to outline those exact same things, those deliverables with either a timeline or links, and then the same thing with the email. So you could easily create, 1, 3 different sales pages, and then just direct them to whatever makes the most sense for them. You could even you could have your one-on-one coaching program, taking the money through, Pagewheel if you wanted to.
So in our free lead magnet would be embedded links that says, here's a free checklist, blah, blah, blah. And that's what they get for giving up their email address. And in the deliver page is where we have the 3 links.
You could also, you could make the digital product the list of deliverables with links too.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
We don't have to, it's going to show up as an image on the sales page. So that's one of the strategies that you may or may not want to do that. But you could do, you could maybe put a calendar in there and then have that, that list of deliverables be that last thing.
Okay.
And just say, hey, you can grab it in there. There's several places you can get, find what you just purchased. Here's all of the ways. But you thinking outside of the box of okay, I need to have a workbook for I'm going to just say this out loud, even though there's going to be people that never download the product. So don't overthink this. Give them what they need.
Right.
So, all right. Any other questions today?
This was really good. Thank you.
Absolutely.
This
All right.
I'm
was
glad my
amazing.
family hasn't joined me yet. Everybody's headed down here from 3 different cities, and me and my husband were the only ones here this week. And I was like, okay, Monday I'm making the noon. I don't know if I'm going to make Wednesday or Friday, but at least I can make today.
That sounds perfect. All right. Well, Wednesday, hopefully y'all will be in the new version 2. Oh, if anybody else wants access to version 2 and doesn't have it, just put your email in here in the comments and I'll
Kathy, what were you about to say?
Oh, I'm just excited. We're leaving to go to Colorado for 3 weeks tomorrow.
Ooh,
So
fun.
now I've got stuff to be working on when the kiddos are in school.
I love it. I love it, love it, love it. I'm switching this over to grabbing all these emails real quick. And so if you put your email in here, we're hoping to release it to the next group by the end of today. And you'll just see a slider in your dashboard that says version 1 and 2. you can go try version 2. And if it's working crazy, then you just go back. Okay, I just have two, Christy and Laura. Am I missing anybody?
Georgie.
Georgie and Val.
Georgie. Okay, let me see if I,
They're the last two.
okay. Oh, I made,
Comments.
there, I just came up. Perfect. Oh, and I see Valerie too. And Valerie. All right. I got him. Whoops, that one didn't copy. Let me try that again. All right, everyone. I will see you on Friday, if not before. And then I'm going to be creating a little blog post that goes up on Learn that has this video in it, if you specifically about packages and stuff like that, about what we talked about.
If you
today.
guys were not here on Friday, go into the Pagewheel group, which I think it's still called the Busy Group.
Mhm.
Go into the Pagewheel group and search for the word replay. Is it under replay?
The Friday one, it was 2 Fridays ago. It was a week ago Friday that the replay is in there. So
And if you don't know what she's talking about when she says learn page, it's learn.pagewheel.com.
Mm-hmm. And we're going to be pushing out content all the time through there. It's one of the things I'm working on today. I mean, we have some good stuff on there already, but it's going to be, we're content creators. We can't help ourselves. So we're going to be pushing out good stuff, and it's going to be something really actionable, which I think is going to be really fun for you to not only use for yourself, but if you are in a situation where you're teaching other people and stuff like that, it can be really helpful because you don't reinvent the wheel, just use our content, just send them over.
And that's coming out on the learn page.
Yeah. And and I think it's gonna be really fun because the other thing that we're working on is that we'll be having like basically a press page or an events page, so that anytime that we are on a podcast or that kind of stuff, that you'll be able to see all that in one place and go find it. Because I know, and then you'll find all these amazing podcasts too that I know it's really hard to find like the perfect thing these days. There's so much out there. So
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Have an amazing Monday.
Much. This
See you
is
later, everyone.
great.
Bye.
Yes, thank you.
Great as always. Thank you.